Greetings everyone, my name is Interville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered 6 levels that I found on Reddit. So in this part, I'll be covering at least 5 or 6 viewer-submitted levels, starting out with this one. Just a level I made by Panta35, 2 plays and a score 0. As always, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a part like this one, please leave the level name and level ID in the comment section below or direct message me on Twitter. As always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. And also in the description are the timestamps for every level I cover in each of these parts. Oh neat, this is one of the Atomic Fire special weapon oriented stages. I haven't seen the Atomic Fire been used that much, so it's nice to see one where we actually have it on infinite ammo. And it doesn't have the annoying charging sound that it had in Mega Man 2, so that's a plus. At least this fully charged ammo shot is really powerful too. I mean, look at it, it just two-shot that gumball machine. No other weapon can do that outside of maybe the bomb-type weapons, so that's quite a plus. Only problem is the fact that the fully charged Atomic Fire takes a lot of weapon energy, but of course I have infinite ammo here, so it's not a problem. And of course I can only have up to one Atomic Fire on screen at a time, so it's a little bit of a problem if I miss my shot. It seems that the medium shots can actually one-shot all of the bee-bitters, as well as the caterpillars. That's a nice plus. Of course I can also quick weapon switch in order to despawn the Atomic Fire faster. Or I can just ram it right into them just like that. I'll have to test that actually. That being how fast I can kill the Power Masters by just using one Atomic Fire, and just spamming it. What just happened there? Oh, I was meaning to double jump there, but for some reason the jump button didn't register sadly. Oh, I may have fallen off the cliff before I actually got the oil slider working. That's probably it. Well, it isn't too far back, so I won't complain about checkpoint placement. Well, at least I'll be able to try it out on the Power Master once again. This time, regular shots. 7 normal shots, or the 7 of the smaller shots, do them in, so pretty powerful in terms of ammo efficiency. This is a lot more of a fun way to do this challenge. Oh wow. The lag over there from collecting a power-up slowed me down, almost to the point where it killed me. Once again, I really wish there was an option in order to turn off the ability to temporarily pause the game whenever you pick up a power-up. Otherwise it can result in situations over there where because of the stutter you die. Well, thank you for the frequent number of weapon pickups. But the Atomic Fire is strong enough anyway. At least the checkpoint placement is fine as well. Oh yeah, if you slide with the Atomic Fire, you lose it, too. That's a good thing to know. Of course, sliding wasn't in Mega Man 2, so of course we didn't have that capability. I believe you can get by the stage by just using the oil slider if you really want to, but this is a lot more fun. Oh yeah, whenever you're charging up the atomic fire, you cannot climb up ladders either. I wonder if each enemy type takes a different amount of damage from every special weapon, aka damage tables. That'd be nice to see. Of course, I can also do stuff like this in order to get through this stage faster. This is probably one of those locations where the Mega Buster or the other special weapons will be a lot more useful. Well, this Killer Bullet segment is completely neutralized by using a time slow. Then again, that's what special weapons are for making challenges easier. Oh, I hit the wall before I did a double jump, that's why I died over there. This is a special weapons oriented stage, so I'm fine. What's all the spring sounds that occur off screen though? That's the odd thing. Some of those... For some reason, some of those runners, or whatever they're called, I forget again, they didn't make the explosion sound when I killed them. Very odd. Well, now we have a falling segment. Oh goody, I think I know what this calls for. Not that. Oil slider time. Of course, there's a problem with that. If I jump at the right time, it's fine. But it's not easy as it looks. I think the ring boomerang is a better option. At least there are frequent checkpoints between every section, so I do like that. And the challenge progression of this atomic fire / other special weapons oriented stage is relatively smooth. Starting out easier, then becoming more difficult. I still wonder what that spring sound occurring off screen is. That was an epic fail on my part. I guess this is one of the segments where you need to use the oil slider in order to make your way across. Fine with me. After all, it pierces right through these runners' invulnerability frames. Even the power muscler. Time to fight the boss, who's Time Man, on bouncy platforms too. That's neat. I wonder how much damage he'll take from the fully charged atomic fire. Immune to that. Yep, his weakness is the hard knuckle. And, his AI just glitched up over there because he kept just sitting over there and firing time arrow after time arrow. Well, okay then. Well, I like this stage. I would say it's a 6 out of 10. I would like to see its gimmicks, specifically focusing on the atomic fire, taken further, because it felt a little bit unfocused because this was a combination of an atomic fire / oil slider stage, and the atomic fire special characteristics weren't utilized that well outside of the first and maybe second section. Still, I enjoyed it, so I will give it a thumbs up. So second on the lineup is Oil Over Water, also by Panta35. 20 plays and a score of 1. I guess this will be the oil slider focus stage that I was hoping for. Let's go to the left because there's probably a secret over here. Yep, an E-tank. And getting hit immediately by all these enemies. And we have Waveman's team. It's fitting because we're surfing the waves. Too bad there are no actual waves though. And if I really want to, I can switch special weapons and... Neat, we actually have all the special weapons from Mega Man 3 that are part of this engine. Well, most of the special weapons of Mega Man 3 that are in this engine, or the Mega Man 1 special weapons, plus the powered up ones. I see, now we're gonna have to slide and jump our way across all of these enemies. Fine with me. Not to mention the oil blobs actually float upwards in the water, which makes this a little bit easier too. That's some oddly colored water if you were to ask me. It's nothing too bad though. Oh. Okay. I was wondering what this water was, and I was getting a little bit confused. I didn't realize we went out of the water and back over here. Oh, this is bad. I should have known that would happen. Still, that's a clever usage of the oil slider and using it to just climb your way upwards. And it was taught earlier in this segment if you screwed up the jumping, so that I do approve of. Just make sure not to double jump. Plus you have infinite usage of the oil slider, so you have enough time to just fail as much as you want. Oh no. I need to be careful so I don't end up sliding right onto the tadpoles, of course. Ah, that's clever. We have to use this to extend our jump. Good checkpoint placement too. Now it's getting a little bit harder because we have bottomless pits, and petite snakies who can just snipe me right off the oil slider surfing. Well, the first segment taught me about how the oil slider floats upwards to the surface, as well as how to slide, so this is a nice difficulty progression. Of course, I also have Ring Boomerang to make this a little bit easier too. Of course, if I'm fast enough I can just dodge all these enemies, and I managed to scroll it on screen again. Even though I'm screwing up a lot, I'm still enjoying this stage. All of these are my fault more than anything else. But my goodness, the petite snakies are really annoying enemies. Just need to be careful with my movement and I can survive. Also good checkpoint placement because the developer knew that players could die repeatedly in that past segment, which I did do about 5 or 6 times at least. That's a snazzy way of going through that segment. I don't think we need a checkpoint over here because this previous segment was the second segment after or rather third segment after the water skiing segment over those petite snakies. This was kind of an announcement in an easier version just to make it easier on the players. So we didn't really need a checkpoint there, but I guess it's to make it less frustrating. Plus I heard force beams over there, so I gotta be a little bit careful. Especially with stuff like the Coltons. Well, okay then. Gotta be a bit careful so I didn't get sniped by the Skeleton Joe over there. But I guess that's the end of the stage. I know I screwed up a lot in this... Okay, not the end yet. I know I screwed up quite a bit in this stage, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. Wow, enemy spam here. Most of the faults or mistakes that were made were all my fault. Maybe the Petite Snaky segment was a little bit jerkish, but there was always a checkpoint over there in case you repeatedly died. So there's that. In fact, this stage has really generous checkpoint placement. A little bit more generous than what I would usually do, but I don't mind it. the stage keeps on going forward. Ah, I see we're taking the oil slider climbing gimmick a bit further. Neat. Now I just need to be careful of not getting hit by the Colton bullets. Easier said than done, though. I'll just spend an E-tank. I really don't want to repeat this segment again. I probably should be using the dive missile more to make this a lot easier. Still, it's fun, and it's a harder version of an earlier challenge that was telegraphed. Plus, we have the special weapons in order to make this segment a bit easier, but you can get by all these segments just by using the oil slider, although it is more challenging though. There we go. This is a good checkpoint placement. And there's so much special weapon energy laying around. The developer is really tempting you to use a lot of special weaponry in order to make this stage more fun. That's for sure. At last, time to fight Cutman. We cannot jump on the globs of oil, otherwise we'll die. And Cutman's weakness seems to be the oil slider too, to make things a little bit easier. At least I have quick weapon switching in order to make this a bit less dangerous. And let me guess, he's immune against all other special weapons. Or all other special weapons that can actually hit him. Alas, that was the end of Oil Over Water, a oil slider special weapons oriented stage that I quite enjoyed. It really well utilized how the oil slider could be used, and it didn't become too challenging. The only really stickler points that became a bit more on the difficult side were the second segment with all those petite snakies sniping you, as well as the segment where you have to climb up all the waterfalls using the oil slider's climbing properties whilst getting sniped by all the Coltons. But even then, they were nicely telegraphed, and the Colton shaft rising segment was telegraphed earlier, and the developer did teach you how the oil slider rising does work, with all the Skeleton Joe segments and the first segment. So good checkpoint placement, well, overly generous checkpoint placement, plus the difficulty progression and teaching and telegraphing of challenges were grand. Definitely a 7 or 7.5 out of 10 in terms of being a special weapons oriented stage. Grand work, Panda35. Third on the lineup is Pattern Panic MKII by DerelictAllstar, 6 plays and a score of 2. And judging by all of their previous stages, I suppose this will be another well-designed traditional Mega Man level. A nice change of pace compared to the previous 2 special weapons oriented stages. Okay, Thunder Beam, Toss Spin, Ice Slasher, Hard Knuckle. A mixture of Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 3 weaponry. And we have Needleman's team. I never really liked it as much, I thought it was a bit of an odd team, but let's go down here. That was a 1, this is a 2. Is this going to be a count bomb oriented stage or something? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I see, we need to memorize the pattern and figure out which one's the correct one to go on forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would be this one. And on the right leads to spikes. Good to know. I see what they're going for now. So 1, 2, 4, so let's see. The next one would be... This is kind of like a math puzzle actually, interspersed with all of these enemies. So we have 1, 2, 4... I guess 8 then. After all, we're doubling the numbers. I was right. 1, 2, 4, 8. That's a clever way of making a challenge. 1, 5, 9. That's 4, so I guess it's going to be 13 or something. Unfortunately, there's no way to speed up the count bomb counting down. Still, this is a neat gimmick. Oh, and that's a clever way of saying how you're supposed to get up there. Freeze the enemies and then use top spin. And it's 13 on the left. I guess it is. Whoops, I screwed that up. This kinda reminds me of Crystal Code by Meccirius, where we had to memorize what the codes were. Nope, screwed that one up. Just need to line them up just right, and I'll be able to make the jump. There we go. But if I took the upper route, I would have died because I would have been embedded into spikes, or rather I would have gotten stuck. 15913. Okay. We have all the beaks here. I remember what well, they're not beaks, these are screw bombers. So 149. The 1 and 4 are being pointed down, the 9 is being pointed upwards. That's 5. No, wait. 1 to 4 is 3, 4 to 9 is 5. Oh, no, it's 1 squared, then 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, so 4 squared would be 16. Top one. I see. Clever. Now I just need to take care of the Sniper Joe over here. This stage is basically a series of math puzzles. 36, 25, 16. Let's first take care of all of these Neo Shotmen. This stage is basically a large mat puzzle combined with enemy gauntlets of various kinds. So 36 is 6 squared, this is 5 squared, this is 4 squared, so next one will probably be 9. The puzzles are gradually getting more difficult too. Nine is this way. And I was right. And the enemy gauntlets are gradually getting harder and harder. Oh. 13, 29, 37. 13, 29... I know it's a 4, 13, 29... I'll go for 49 over there. I think I may be making a mistake, but let's see and hope for the best. Well, I screwed this one up. Whoops, that was the wrong one. I didn't have much time to take care of the pattern. It was actually the top one. Alright, let's see what the next puzzle is. That was 13. Oh yeah, that was the answer. Oh, okay, I think I know what it... 1, 2, 3, 4, then 3, 9, 7, 7. I don't get it. Oh well. On to the next puzzle. Hopefully there's a checkpoint nearby. Good checkpoint placement. It happened after 3 or so puzzles, so that makes sense. 1, 3, 4. I guess 2? Well, that's me not counting on the Yoku block pattern correctly. This is Pattern Panic, after all. 1, 3, 4... 5? Maybe it's actually 1. Let me try 1. Yeah, 1 was the answer. I'm not sure what the pattern for that last one was. Things are getting really advanced now. And then hard knuckle. 6, 4, 4, 6. Wait a minute. I'm just taking a note down because I'm not sure what this is supposed to mean. I mean 5-2. Strange. I wonder what this is supposed to mean. Well, this has become more of a puzzle/fortress stage because we're forced to use special weapons, but I don't mind it. What is the pattern here? 6-4 and 4-6 are opposites of each other, so 5-2's opposite would be 2-5. At least that's what I hope. What just happened there? I thought I hit that spine. Yeah, that was right. Let's see, 368699. The last two numbers are the same for the first two ones, and then both of them are 99. Maybe it's 66 then. I don't exactly get the pattern. I was right. At last, it's actually time to fight Bomb Man. At least there's a checkpoint right over here in order to make things a little bit less dangerous. Still, that was a really interesting stage. Although the last segment killed me a lot more than what I would like to admit. Also, I managed to glitch Bomb Man right into the ice walls. So, bravo, DerelictAllstar. This is definitely a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Although, how much you like this stage really depends on how well you can understand the math puzzles. But at the very least, the math puzzles are not randomized. If you get stuck on a puzzle, you can always repeatedly try out the other answers. The other answer or the other two answers in the last case, and then you'll eventually make your way through. Plus, I did like how each of the puzzles was broken up by a different enemy-based challenge, and later on becoming a bit more of a special weapons-oriented challenge. That way, it didn't become so dull as a pure puzzle stage. So, a definite thumbs up, and it's a definite favorite of this part. Great work, DerelictAllstar, making this puzzle/special weapons-oriented stage. You took your ideas from your previous traditional Mega Man stages and applied it to create a really unique gimmick. Definitely getting high in terms of creativity, design, and fun. Fourth level on the lineup is Ice Paradise by Meccirius, 12 plays and a score of 4. All of the levels I played in this part so far have been, at the very least, average to being great. This seems to be a longer stage. In fact, if it's as long as I think it'll be, this will be the final stage of this part. After all, the first two stages were on the normal to a bit longer length, whereas Pattern Panic MKII was on the longer side, more so because of my deaths. And judging by the loading times, this will also be a longer stage. Nice graphics though. All sorts of special weapons. If you're not careful, those enemies can be really hard to hit. This stage will definitely get a high in terms of aesthetics, one of the highest of this part. I like the snowstorm background and the crystalline base with all the snow. Really creates a pretty sight. I wish the background wasn't a pitch black and there were maybe some stars, but we don't have that in this engine, unfortunately. That type of graphic. Meccirius has really improved ever since they started submitting levels to me, ever since I played Top of the Volcano Mach 1, and I'm really proud to see how far they've progressed. They're one of the level designers who have progressed the most in terms of my LP series. What kills you? Nothing actually kills the spines, unfortunately. Nothing I have, at least. And all for some more weapon pickups. That wasn't really worth it. Good checkpoint placement. Oh boy. That's really scary. Ah, whoa. I forget, slippery ice. Oh neat, the snowstorm stopped when we got outside of the base. Still a pretty sight. And it got killed by the explosion itself. Wonderful. That's one of the issues about killer bullets that makes them dangerous. Their explosion can hurt you as well. As shown over there, unfortunately. Meaning that shooting them when jumping on these precise platforms is not recommended at all. And there were two of them at this time. In these situations, either using the rush jet or just freezing them is a better option. Or just shooting them immediately as they get on screen so they don't get killed. I really don't want to risk it and get that E-tank there. Actually, you know what? I'll get the E-tank. I have rush jet. In fact, I can use the rush jet in order to make this stage a lot easier if I really want to. This is one of those situations where I wish I had the Hornet Chaser. At least there was a large weapon energy over here, or a large life energy, because Meccirius did know that players would take quite a bit of damage. This is becoming more of a fortress level because, well, maybe not, well, maybe a little bit of a fortress level, mainly because the killer bullets weren't introduced as a new player would. You were kind of thrown into the fray a little bit. Other than that, the rest of the stage feels like a traditional Mega Man level. Okay, more of a fortress level because we're forced to use rush jet. Even then, it's fine. And that was me just trying to go up the ladder too fast. And most of these alternate pathways, they're just for extra goodies. Although, there was that forced usage of rush jet down over there in order to make that jump. At least that's what I think? I was just... Oh, never mind, that wasn't forced at all. That was just an optional pathway. I still wish there was more distinction in Mega Man Maker possible, whether going down a pit is instant death or not. Maybe fade to black, because there's no distinction there. I first thought it was a bottomless pit. But unfortunately Meccirius can't really do much in that regard, outside of really changing the level design more. Oh well, maybe in a future update. Well, this challenge is getting more difficult and more difficult with the shield attacker positioning. Not to mention all of these enemies. I mean the spines, and I have no way of destroying the spines either. The slippery ice is not helping at all. E-tank time. All this damage boost to it is because I can't get by it. I know it's possible, but the slippery ice is not making this easy at all. Wait. You may want to fix your transition over to Meccirius because we can see a blank screen on the bottom left. Maybe make it a solid background filled with a base or something. Ah, a harder version of the Ben K encounter. This one we cannot skip without special weapons. So, good difficulty progression for the most part. The Meccirius first introduces an enemies and challenges in a relatively safe environment, then makes them more difficult. We saw it with the Ben K, and we saw it with the Shield Attacker plus Spines plus Crystal Joe challenge. And the same with the Killer Bullets. I'm not going to take any chances because I don't remember the last checkpoint, so I'm just going to rush jet my way across. There is no chance of getting knocked off a rush jet, that's why I'll be using it. Plus I can skip all the Ben K encounters that way too. And I like that Meccirius gave us the ability to skip the stage if we really want to. Or skip parts of the stage. The one thing I do wish was the ability to have a special weapon that can actually destroy the spines. Oh well, you can't win them all. The Perfect Freeze isn't the best weapon here. Neither is the Skull Barrier either because we don't have spikes yet. The the Ice Slasher though, that's gonna be a lot better. Okay, now we have spikes. And seals and killer bullets. At least there is relatively good checkpoint placement. Although the water is not being introduced in a safe enough environment, but then again, this is a fortress level, as I already established. I thought it was going to be an instant death pit there, but guess not. I just missed the secret though. Oh well. Once again, the ice physics are really strong here. They kind of remind me of... Never mind. The ice physics are a bit stronger than what I would expect it to be. Oh well. You know, the snowy background behind the spikes makes the spikes seem like they're shimmering, so another nice touch. And of course, I can make this challenge as difficult or easy as I want if I want to use the Skull Barrier. So that's a plus. Like here, for example. Oh no. You know, taking contact damage from the killer bullets seems to deal less damage than blowing them up. 1 point of less damage, it seems. Still, I'm enjoying this stage, and this falls under my second favorite level of this part, / honorable mention. It's definitely a longer fortress level. In fact, it feels like 2 or 3 fortress levels taped together, though with a more similar team. Because the team of the stage is effectively ice and killer bullets, Shadow Man platforms, the seals, the shield attackers, etc. And all the challenges are gradually getting harder, and for the most part being introduced in easier environments than more difficult ones, as I already established. Although I would have liked if the spikes were introduced in this environment where it was less likely that you would jump into them. Not to mention, dealing with the runners, Crystal Joes, and the spines is a little bit easier than dealing with the killer bullets underwater. Really hoping there's a checkpoint nearby. Okay, good. I really didn't want to die over there. That would be really embarrassing, just dying right before the boss. At last, I guess we're at the end of this Fortress/Meritron stage. As I already established, it's like 2 or 3 Fortress levels tied together. At least Iceman is the boss. It's really appropriate because this is an ice level. Hard Knuckle? I guess it is. After all, the Hard Knuckle will smash through the ice. Well, that was the end of Ice Paradise, a longer Fortress level that I quite enjoyed, and I will definitely give it a thumbs up. Second favorite level of this part. Not as good as Pattern Panic MKII, but still pretty fun stage. I liked how far it took its ice gimmick and how it introduced most of its gimmicks and enemies in safer environments, then made them more challenging and then intermingled them. We saw those with the killer bullets, we saw those with the Shadow Man platforms, we saw it with those, for example, the Benkeis in Isolation, then combined with the Shadow Man platforms or Robonus Pits, then combined with the killer bullets. We also saw it with all of the enemies, for example, the Crystal Joe section, which added in spines and then shield attackers, and tighter configurations. Same with the spikes, although I wish the water segment of the spikes came after the on-land segment with the spikes. Because the difficulty progression of the stage, although it gradually got harder, didn't exactly feel like it was a steady progression upwards. It felt a bit wonky at times. But nonetheless, I quite enjoyed this stage, and as I just said, second favorite level of this part. So keep up the good work, Meccirius. You've made me proud with all the progress you've made ever since the beginning of this Let's Play. So in the next part, I'll cover a bunch of more of your submitted levels. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!